welcome to our 2024 Mission Sustainability Awards. Thank you for joining us to celebrate the creativity and teamwork of the next generation of science and engineering talent. As an innovator in the energy and water sectors, Enzen is passionate about inspiring more young people to pursue careers in our industry and protect our planet for future generations. Every British Science Week for the past 4 years, Enzen has delivered mission sustainability in West Midlands schools. The programme sees Enzen experts share their industry knowledge with students and set them challenges as part of their science modules. This year's theme is Artificial Intelligence, and our partner is the WMG Academies for Young Engineers in Solihull and Coventry. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll be visiting the Academy's 2 campuses and seeing Year 12 students' ideas for how AI can build a more sustainable world. At the end of the show, we'll announce the winning students as chosen by a panel of judges made up of Academy teachers and the Enzen UK leadership team. Before we do, here's a quick look at how mission sustainability has developed since it began in 2020.
Mission Sustainability was launched to inspire young people to pursue STEM careers and also to learn how they can use their creativity, knowledge and teamwork to leave a cleaner, healthier planet for future generations.
Thank you to all of the teachers and students who've made mission sustainability a success over the years. This time round, Enzen has created a programme specifically for sixth form students, collaborating with the WMG Academies for Young Engineers in Solihull and Coventry. Let's find out more about the Academy's mission and how they're preparing students to shape the industries of the future.
The WMG Academy Trust has 2 academies. They're both university technical colleges, and that means that they've got a university partner, which is Warwick University, one of the Russell Group universities, and it also has about 30 business partners that work with students and bring the curriculum to life across the trust.
The WMG Academy for Young Engineers brings a business-led, business-like ethos to all that they do. They love to collaborate with industry partners, and they also have a clear STEM focus, which made them the ideal partner.
It's really important for students to be exposed to the world of work to get real life experiences, and to be partnered up with a company like Enzen, who has got a local location but a global footprint and is really at the forefront of many of the sustainable projects involving science, technology, engineering and maths, and students can really get to grips with some of the key concepts for them as they move into the ever-changing workplace in terms of artificial intelligence, in terms of a huge amount of digital technology which they are going to have to deal with and be very competent with.
My main reason for wanting to participate in this year's Mission Sustainability comes from my background in biology, and knowing that my students really haven't had a good opportunity to investigate core issues such as sustainability. So this seemed like a fantastic opportunity for them.
I think sustainability is a big deal if you look at what's happening globally in terms of the extreme weather we've got. It sort of brings home that we've actually got to start to focus quite a lot on what we're doing to the environment. So just the idea of sustainability and sort of doing things that we can do that has less impact on the environment is huge if we want to sort of save the world, which would be a nice thing to do.
Thank you to all the staff at both academies for making our 2024 programme possible. So what was this year's challenge? With artificial intelligence set to transform business, industry and society, Enzen believes it's essential we show young people how they can apply this new technology responsibly, creatively and for the well-being of our planet. So our mission this year was to task Year 12 students with a hackathon-style challenge themed How can AI be used to create a more sustainable world? The students were split into teams of 5 and had 4 weeks to work on their projects. During this time, each team had to identify a sustainability challenge, imagine how AI could help address it, and then visualise their idea for our judging panel.
We chose the theme of artificial intelligence because it's having a transformative effect not only on our sector of energy and water, but having a wider impact on society in general. So Mission Sustainability this year was an opportunity to teach students about AI so they can learn from our experts, build the business skills that they need that they're going to take out into the working world, understand how through AI they can look after the well-being of the planet if it's used responsibly, and finally to express their creativity and to give them the chance to come up with their own ideas about how they can build a better world, because after all they're the next generation and they're going to be inheriting the future.
They're already quite a smart bunch, if you're honest, but it's reinforced, it's linked the ideas together. So they already knew what AI was, they already knew about sustainability, but it's just allowed them to think, actually, we can do something, we've got more skills than a lot of people.
So I think students learning about AI is really relevant and important right now. It's having a massive change across all industries, not just in utilities. The skills that are required are different. The opportunities and the roles that will be there in future are very different for people. So learning how to interact with that and making best use of it is hugely relevant for people to be learning about right now.
I think the pupils' entries this round were actually quite novel. They covered a very broad spectrum, but seemed to be very focused into a lot of what Enzen's core prospects are, especially in the water sector. And they went about it in such an interesting way, looking into angles that, frankly, I never would have considered.
They did understand in a very broad perspective, because I've seen them thinking about farmers, which is focusing on the food scarcity, which is the major issue that the whole world is facing. So poverty or food scarcity, it all ties in together. So using AI for a sustainable future and keeping in mind the food industry and everything, I think they've done a great job. Also, they've looked at the air pollution perspective as well. So I think they've touched on all the broad perspectives and how to build a sustainable world.
The challenge culminated with a visit to both academies by Enzen leaders Paul Bowker, our head of cloud, data and AI, and Darren McNulty, our head of Net Zero and Renewables. Over the course of 2 days, Paul and Darren met with students, working in teams of 5, to learn more about how they use knowledge, creativity and teamwork to develop their solutions.
At Enzen, one of my key roles is promoting renewable energy projects as standalone projects, but more than that, it's about helping our clients achieve their net zero goals.
Lots of interesting stuff going in across utilities at the moment, so how we can apply more digital capabilities to help with what's going on across the sector. So looking forward to taking part in the day and having a chance to talk to you over the next couple of hours.
Yeah, water pressure. You open your tap at home and it's open for a minute, full. The amount of the volume of water that comes through will be dependent on the pressure.
So is the outcome overall, it's just going back to what you were describing at the start, is it overall it's better sorted waste?
What you've mocked up here, from sensor through to data, and then thinking about how you analyse that data and how you get insight from it, it's so applicable across so many scenarios at the moment.
Our 3D printed prototype of a probe that will scan the bottom of the of the riverbed.
So what did the students come up with? We spoke to some of them to find out.
We all came together and thought of ideas. We pulled our ideas together and we decided that agriculture was a huge issue and could be improved upon quite seriously with the use of AI.
Our team has designed a localised sensing unit to measure air pollution in certain geographical areas.
For our challenge, we decided to use AI for food waste. So we're looking at implementing systems to sort out food waste because it's becoming a big problem here in the UK and across the world.
For the challenge, we had the idea to use AI and virtualization to reduce e-waste.
My team did a smart bin that works, that when it gets full, it locks it so no one else can overflow it, and then it compresses the trash down.
My group's challenge was a dredging system that was composed of two parts.
At first, we compared all of our ideas as a team, filtering through them, making sure we picked the most realistic options, and then we settled for the waste management filtering system.
There was a lot to think about when designing our product, so for example what materials we needed to use and what components worked best.
Most enjoyed the challenge of it and working with the team to develop an effective unit.
The thing I learned about AI is the versatility of it and the ability of different areas of engineering it can be used in.
I became aware of all the issues in society and how AI can be really beneficial and help solve these issues.
I find it really fascinating looking into what we can do with AI and how AI is advancing and changing to make things a lot easier for people of today and for people of the future.
At the end of each day, the teams were asked to present their entries to Paul and Darren. They were joined on the judging panel by Tom Stevens and Rebecca Archer from the Solihull Academy and Peter Muckeridge and Kalai Ganeshan from the Coventry Academy. Each team had 10 minutes to persuade the experts that theirs was the winning idea.
So, hello everyone, we're here to talk about AI sustainability and we're going to be on the topic of food waste. So food waste and recycling is a major problem here in the UK and across the world, and it's because 9.5 million tonnes per annum are put into the landfill here in the UK. And so these amounts of waste from food can cause methane gases and toxic gases going into the environment. So what we're trying to achieve is extracting biogas and biofuel from this, because even though it releases these harmful gases, it can also be used for renewable and sustainable sources of energy.
So we decided that we would go into the analysis of the soil and see how we can increase crop growth and yield rates.
So this project of ours will lead to how AI, right, can pave a path to a more sustainable and greener environment, right? Environmentally, socially and economically.
The main point of this system is to basically make users more aware that the water they're using is a lot. Because you think about businesses, for example, this school, you think about every time a student goes to the toilet, washes their hand, you can think about the large amount of water being used.
Well, what impressed me today was that all of the solutions that were presented were really well thought through. There was obviously lots of research that had gone behind it, lots of thought into different aspects of what the solution could contain.
Some great ideas. They've covered a broad range of areas. They've covered things that are happening today, they've covered some futuristic ideas, and they've really brought some creativity into the day as well.
Today we're going to try to purify the world's rivers with a dredging system.
The essence behind the dredging system is to remove waste from the riverbeds, to clean it and remove metals, non-metals and other contaminants which shouldn't be there.
How does this all work? In front of the judges is our prototype for the probe that will be first sent out to scan the bottom of the river. It will be scanning for any foreign materials that shouldn't be in there, so that is plastics and metals. This then sends information to the main dredging system, which will then go out and hopefully clean the area.
We set out with the mission to develop a sensor unit capable of accurately measuring air quality across localised geographical areas.
This is the latest version, and as you can see on your table there, if you turn it round, you will be able to see on the other side there is a sensor sticking out. But overall, I'm quite happy with what we've made.
We're tackling an issue with litter and overflowing bins in places like, say, Coventry City Centre or any other area like that. Or one of the main systems of our bin is a system that will use ultrasonic waves to detect when the trash has reached the top of the bin or near the top of the bin.
We're Team Eco Virtual, and our PowerPoint will be about how to reduce e-waste with AI and virtualization. Each year, millions of tons of electric devices are put into disposable, and we think we have the solution that can make a difference to change that.
We propose utilizing AI and virtualization to run multiple computers in one and reduce the amount of hardware needed, thus reducing e-waste and hopefully saving the planet. We'll also be using AI to optimize performance and minimize power consumption. We can use AI to learn the patterns of users, and we can use AI to learn how they use their apps to further reduce power consumption and e-waste.
Our vision is to enhance the crop productivity for farmers by providing accurate identification of the issues in the plant's immediate environment and offering them actionable data for the resolution. Our objective is also to empower the farmers to enhance crop yield through the provision of accurate data on the deficiencies in the field.
So first we will take small sections of the field as shown by the dotted lines, and we would insert as many probes as possible to collect many data points. An algorithm will design the minimum number of sensors required for the entire field. So once we know the position of the sensors, we can insert them into the soils, and it will take the readings of the mineral ions and let the farmer know which minerals are low.
I thought the students' entries today were fantastic. I was really impressed by the attention to detail that they'd all put in, the variety of the ideas, and the clear concepts that they'd explored through ideation, concept, prototyping. Everything was amazing.
Like, they talked about the sensors, they talked about how it could fail, they talked about the challenges that it can face.
We've seen CAD design skills, we've seen electronic skills, we've seen some brilliant presentation skills, applied concepts to a whole range of different use cases. So it's really been great to see students get to grips with how artificial intelligence can play a big part in sustainability going forward.
With the challenge completed, our judges gathered at Enzen's offices in Solihull to decide on the winning students.
They worked their socks off to get prototypes and models and concepts that could actually be feasible.
But didn't expect such good enunciation, such communication and mature attitude to engagement.
Between those two, for me, quite a tough call, but if I was going to differentiate between gold and silver, that would be how I would do it.
They seem to have thought way beyond what you saw in a presentation.
It was a really good ideation, concept, prototype approach, really methodical. Again, here I think it's difficult because, got 4 completely different solutions. You need to come back to me.
I think mission sustainability has been a great couple of days. It's been really good to be involved in. The quality of submissions across the board has been fantastic. It's been great to see how much enthusiasm and motivation there's been, and just great to be involved with.
Thank you to all of our judges for their insights. So, now is the time to announce this year's Mission Sustainability winners. Our judges categorised all the entries into gold, silver and bronze, based on which ones showed the most creativity, knowledge, teamwork and presentation skills. In our bronze category, we have 3 teams. Congratulations to Eco Virtual, Mission Possible and Cash.
The judging panel thought EcoVirtual in particular had done a brilliant job with the chatbot. To see that demoed live was just brilliant.
The judges really liked the unique artistic spin they brought to the challenge.
What stood out to the judges about Cash's entry was that it addressed a real-life problem in an innovative way.
In silver, there are 2 teams. Well done to AgriZen and Team Rivers.
The judges loved how AgriZen brought their research to life.
So the one thing that really stood out to us about Team Rivers' entry was the attention to detail and engineering concepts from ideation right through to prototyping.
And finally, our overall winners taking gold status are Pi 5, Deficiency Destroyers and Trees a Crowd.
I think the panel thought Pi 5 overall had just done a brilliant job with, in particular, the device, putting it together, the sensors, to see that working. Such a professional and polished product was just way beyond anything I had expectation of seeing coming into the event.
Yeah, what I really liked and the judges commented on was how they had a holistic approach to the whole aspect.
What really stood out to the judges for the Trees a Crowd entry was that not only did it address a real problem in a renewable energy field, but the way it was delivered by the team, the enthusiasm and the knowledge was really outstanding.
Congratulations to all of our winning teams and well done to all of the students that took part. We hope that everyone who has taken part in this year's programme has learned something new about the opportunities of artificial intelligence and how, if used responsibly and creatively, it has the potential to transform our world for the better. If you're a teacher watching who would like to take part in next year's mission, you can contact the Mission Sustainability team at the email address at the bottom of the screen. Thank you again and congratulations to our talented students. We'll see you again in 2025.
So I saw a great teamwork, collaboration, where they are respecting each and everyone's ideas and giving them time to, put themselves forward and being confident. So it was brilliant.
I feel like this opportunity has helped me as a teacher by allowing me to see my students in a completely different light, Today they have stood in front of industry professionals and they have exuded confidence, and that is something I have to be proud of.
I really enjoyed taking part because I was able to see the students showcase their talents, and you could see how they develop skills during the project.
What I've learned from this challenge is that AI is the future, and we need to stop thinking about how it's going to replace us and about how we can use it to our advantage, and how it's not about replacing people, it's about making it so we don't have to do the hard tasks, we don't have to struggle, we can just focus on what we want to do for the future and less the nitty-gritty.
I also learned about how important sustainability can be for our future and how we can grow as a planet to become more sustainable and live better lives.
I think it's great to see a day like today. I think having that chance to bring the talent of tomorrow together with what we're doing in business right now, showcase some of the opportunities that exist, but also get to meet some of that talent and show them the career paths that exist ahead, is all opportunity for both the students and for us at Enzen.
The overriding thing that comes to mind about this year's Mission Sustainability is how impressed I was with the young engineers and scientists I've met through both academies. I was really blown away with their enthusiasm, intelligence and attention to detail.